So how do you negotiate a salary in your personal experience?
So this is my personal bias. This isn't the way that everyone should do it. But
Okay.
first, I would say that how good a fit are you for this role? So the better fit you are, the more you can, negotiate for higher.
Right.
The
Yeah.
next is who applied for this role? Did you reach out to them or did they reach out to you to apply for
Mm-hmm.
it? That also like pushes the power into your favor if they're running after you.
Mm-hmm.
Third is how many other people can do the exact same things you can do?
Right.
Like if you know, let's say 12 programming languages when everyone else just knows three, then you
Mm-hmm.
know you are a lot more in demand than
Right.
them. So I think it's first checking all of these factors. So how I do it with my students is that we go through their master file. We see how valuable are they compared to like other people in the same exact position as them,
Yeah.
saying how much better are you and what are the things that set you apart.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we get that, I like to put it against the job post. So when you look at a job post, let's say there's 10 bullet points. The first five are the requirements. The next five are a wish list.
Oh, okay.
Most
Okay.
people don't realize that you really just have to fit 50%. The rest you can just learn on the
Right.
job or you
Yeah.
can just
Yeah.
figure it out. But honestly, if it's farther down on the list, it means it was something that they thought of at the end and then they just decided to tack on.
Mm-hmm.
Because the most important stuff is up there already. Those
Yeah.
are the
Yeah.
first thing. And when all that comes out, then I would also just say that you need to calculate what's your ideal number. Like whatever this number is, that's going to be the very base of whatever you ask. And so
Mm-hmm.
let's say your ideal number is 70. So you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be saying, I'm okay with between 50 to 70 because
Ah.
people aren't going to reach your ideal number. You're going to be disappointed because you set yourself up that way.
Yeah.
So you've calculated it. So you say, my ideal number is between like 70 to 90. So no matter what, your ideal number has been hit.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't hit your number, then because you've done all of this other work, you know all the other things about yourself and also what you want out of a job, you can negotiate for that.
Right.
So I always tell my students, like, if they're not willing to meet you on money, ask them to meet you in number of VLs and SLs. Ask them
Mm-hmm.
to meet you on extended benefits. Like, try to find other things that matter to you that don't cost as much money,
Right.
and then just ask for that instead.
I find that really interesting because, as I mentioned to you before,
Mhm.
I did go through a bit of interview stages, but not I. It's not like I was at that stage where, like, I never found a job that I loved. If you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Like that's why I ended up making a business. That's why I ended up
Yeah.
doing all that stuff. Because I never found a job that I loved. What do you do when somebody doesn't get a job that they love?
I think, well, my very first question is you shouldn't find a job that you love because then it sets you up for like a lot of disappointment
Ooh.
and heartache.
Okay.
Because, so many people attach their identities to like their job and their work. And I always ask them, the moment you get sick, the moment you stop being good at your job, what happens to you? What happens to your identity? What happens to your
Uh
sense
huh.
of self? Because that really hurts. So like I said, I'm very sickly. So if I attach myself to like the quality of my work, I'm going to be deeply disappointed sometimes
Mm-hmm.
or often because the moment I get sick, it's just I can't do anything for a while.
All right.
My next thing is if you don't get the job that you really like, you need to figure out what parts of it did you like. Was it the prestige of the company? Was it the
Mm-hmm.
people who are working there? Is it the type of work that you're going to be doing? Is it the type of work it's avoiding? And then you need to find where else can you find something similar to it. So the way I teach is there's three tiers of companies always when you want to apply. First is moonshots. These are your dream companies that
Mm-hmm.
if you land there, you've achieved everything you wanted. This is your goal.
Yeah.
Second is mirror companies. So they're like on the same level as your moonshot companies, but there's something wrong about them. Like maybe they're based in Alabang and you live in Commonwealth,
Okay.
or
Okay.
they
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
work on Tuesday to Saturday instead of Monday to Friday. There's just one thing off about them that just makes
Mm-hmm.
you unhappy. But like you'd be fine there, and someday it would help you land at your moonshot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is like a safety net, which is you're fired today, you need money tomorrow, you have to
Yeah.
get hired
Yeah.
the day after. So these are just companies that you would apply to right away, no thoughts about that. And I always tell them that, you should start applying at jobs that you don't really care about first. That way, if they
Oh.
reject you or you get accepted, you still have options, you still have choices. You know that there are other people, other places that want you. And if you
Right.
get accepted and you don't want to go in, well, great. It's time for you to learn how to reject jobs.
Mm-hmm.